Hey, it's Phila, and you're watching Phila TV, the ultimate YouTube channel. I'm no cinematographer, just a dude with a camera. Anyways, I love yuccas. This is a follow-up to my I Love Yucca series that I'm working on. As you may remember, I had cut a bunch of yucca stumps, and I propagated them in water. And as they started to grow, I transferred a couple into pots. Here's a little story on that when I first did this. And I'll pack the soil around a little bit more, and I'll give it a lot of water, keep it in the shade, and we'll come back in a handful of weeks and we'll see what the progress is compared to the ones that I'm still leaving in water for a little while longer, and we'll compare the two. So this will be part 2 of my growing yuccas stumps. And the rest of these, I will have to check the date on when I first put them into water. But here's a little update on those. And as you can see, I said I was going to pot them all, but I didn't. But I decided I was going to leave some just in the water and put them into taller jars. And you can see just after 2 more months exactly how much growth we have. Some of these jars were a little tall, so I just put an avocado pit in there to take up the space, and I've just set them in there, and I change the water like every week or so. As you can see, we got lots of growth going on, lots of roots. It's pretty exciting. All right, so I'm going to grab the camera so we can take a closer look at this. Okay, today is November 16th. These were put in a pot 5 weeks ago. And as you can see, we've got tons of growth. It's nice, sturdy, and these are going to make great little trees. And for the rest of these, as you can see, we've got lots of growth, lots of sprouts, lots of roots going on all these. This is the one that I had upside down for a couple of weeks, and I finally figured out what the right side was because I forgot to follow the arrow. And we've got a little bit of a root, and we do have some branching going on this. And here's another one with just a couple. Now, these are the ones that I left them in the jar, but these are the pups that I pulled. And I learned that if I keep very little water in the jar, the bases won't rot. And as you can see, now I've got plenty of roots, and these are ready to pot up. So these have been kind of fun. I'm just going to leave these in the jar and let them get completely root bound and see what's going on. And now let's take a look at some of the other yuccas that have been growing. Okay, here's some of the yuccas that have been going from 2 years ago, 3 years ago, and 4 years ago. And as you can see, when you keep pulling these, you're going to get babies growing to the bottom. Sounds like Rex wants to do a lot of talking, so you guys will be able to enjoy Rex's voice. And then take a look down here. This is where I've been cutting all my pups from and just letting it grow for another 5 weeks without touching it. You can see how tall those have got. Same thing with here. I harvested all of these, and they have come back with a vengeance. And the last big one is over here, and you can see from 5 weeks going. And I'm gonna let these grow now the rest of the season. We are coming into winter, and these really don't go dormant. So we're going to just see how tall these get over the next handful of weeks. As you can see, we still have quite a bit of burning. Okay, so I'm going to pull some of these out, and I'm going to line them up so we can take a better look. Right now there's too much sun, too much glare. So we'll come back to these. This really doesn't happen too often with these yuccas because they're pretty foolproof. But once in a while you do get one that doesn't take root. As you can see, this is not doing so well. So I'm going to crop this off here, and then we'll try and see if we could start this another way. As you can see, bottom still looks pretty good. I'm really curious to see if this got any roots at all. As you can see, it did not, and it's very pliable, so this one's a bust. So my goal to get to 100 by springtime has just shortened by 1. No worries, I think I could still pull this one off. So I stripped it of all its leaves that were wilting and dry, and I'm just going to place it back into the center, pack down the soil, give it some water, and then hope next time we check that this one will be up and running. Ha! It happens to be dated August 31st. Wonder what's up with that, why it didn't work. Anyways, we'll put that back into the shade and give it a little bit more rest. I may move these two into the shade so we can take a better look at them. I get a lot of questions on how soon or how often will these create pups. And as you can see, this one is about 4 years old. You can see one little tiny pup coming in there. However, this one is 3 years old, and it is growing quite a few pups. Each one of the branches, you know, each one of these stumps has its own series of pups growing on each one of them. So the whole secret is that if you keep these peeled back, you know, as they dry off, you know, and they burn, like you can see the tip on that one's burned. If you keep these pulled back, it will be forcing it to branch out. And then you can see how fat that stalk is getting. To give you an idea, this is how they start. I put 3 in a pot on most of these, and just maintain them, keep an eye on them, don't let them dry out, and they start to grow. These might have started as pups a little bit taller, but you can see basically they're all about the same. And this is the one from 2 years ago, and it hasn't quite started growing any pups. Here's everybody all grouped together. I've got to come through here and start trimming and pulling off some of these leaves, but as you can see, everything seems to be doing pretty well. I'm quite pleased that we have the correct color green going on. I mean, I see a couple of these smaller babies that don't look so great. I'm trying to keep my soil dry now that we've got some established roots. A lot of people are asking what I do for soil, and I just take good Southern California dirt and mix in a little peat moss, maybe a little bit of sand, and just let them go. But here's the overall, all the new babies that are just a few months old and all doing well. So guys, hope you guys like this video. Please give me a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe. Don't forget to share and hit the notification bell so you know when more of these videos are popping up. And I will keep propagating because I love yuccas. Thanks for watching Phila TV.